I'm not the guy you would expect to have heart issues. I've always been focused on staying in shape and eating healthy. I don't smoke, my cholesterol and resting heart rate are both low, and I'm an avid runner and cyclist. On July 16, 2016, Saturday morning, I went for a bicycle ride to the Sandia ski area. But when I got to town and I was 2 miles away from home, I started to get a heavy chest, tightness, my limbs started to become numb, I was lightheaded.
When I got home, Brett was pacing the bedroom and I asked him what was wrong. He said he didn't feel good. He said he couldn't catch his breath and he was dizzy. And I said, well, is this like what's happened before when you've hit the wall? And he said, no, it's different. And I said, does your chest hurt? And he said, yes, it's heavy. I said, put your shoes on, let's go to urgent care.
I was hooked up to an IV, an EKG. Looking at the faces, I could tell this wasn't going to go good. I felt I was fading, and I thought I was going to die right there. And I remember thinking to myself at that moment, this was going to be the last time I would see my wife and kids again. I was given aspirin and rushed to the emergency room immediately. I remember being rolled into the trauma room, and I remember them hooking me up to an IV, EKG, nitrates. But as time progressed, I thought I was getting better. They decided to take me up to the 7th floor to monitor my enzymes, make sure that they didn't increase. By morning, the enzyme count had gone up and decided, we gotta go now, we've gotta check you out. So they carted me down to the catheterization room, put in some dye, and I remember the doctor saying, boom, there's the blood clot. He says, well, I hate to tell you this, but we call it the widowmaker. You're very lucky to be here. So they went through my leg, said, we got it. Put in a stent, and here I am today.
At the end of his cath procedure, they came out and got me to go back. And as I got settled next to Brett at the table, the doctor looked at me and said, you know that diamond ring you've been thinking about buying your wife? Now's the time to get it for her because she saved your life yesterday. A couple weeks after Brett's procedure, we went out to breakfast with some friends after our daughter's soccer game. And at one point I realized Brett wasn't feeling very good. He said he had to step out and go get some fresh air. And at that point we had the discussion and decided we needed to take him to urgent care to make sure everything was okay.
That second trip to ER really got my attention. They held me overnight, and the next day I was released and went straight to the cardiac rehab from there. Wasn't my best workout, but it was nice to get back to the gym and be with the support of fellow people that were also in the cardiac rehab. So I still need to get over the thoughts in my head that create a lot of anxiety, that drive me to have the symptoms I have. And I'm getting over that. I'm learning to live with it. Where I used to be scared and leaving my radius away from a hospital, hiking, running, and things that would create anxiety, I'm now finding that I'm getting out. I'm able to hike, run with my wife, and exercise daily now, and enjoy the things I like to enjoy with the kids. When I first got out of the hospital, my friends would call, check on me, wish me well, but now they call me to find out the symptoms and the details and what they can do to prevent having a heart attack. I tell them just to take care of their body, listen to it. I tell my friends, if you feel any symptoms, and I mean any symptoms, call 911. Thanks to the American Heart Association, hospitals, first responders, and other agencies are working closely together to achieve the best possible outcomes when 911 is called. The work of the American Heart Association is having a huge impact on our community. For example, about $1.7 million have gone to New Mexico this year alone for research that is saving lives like mine. Most of us probably don't truly appreciate what the American Heart Association does until they are personally touched by heart disease. It's easy to ignore the life-saving information offered by the American Heart Association. But the fact is, we need to know the symptoms. We need to know our numbers. We need to know that heart disease can touch any one of us. And we need to remember that when symptoms exist, call 911 immediately. Heart disease is the #1 killer in the U.S. Let's do our part to face it and stop it.